I had no expectations of what improv was.
I didn't know it existed.
All I knew was that it was Whose Line Is It Anyway? And that is it.
I thought it was clever and scary.
I thought it was fun and kind of like uncool at the same time.
I heard that actors sometimes did improvisation, sometimes like between takes. I just thought it's something that people did to like rehearse for a real thing. I didn't know that it was like its own art form.
It felt inaccessible to me.
Kind of like surfing. It just seemed like one of those things that it's like, oh, only really, really cool people can do that, until you eventually learn like, oh, you just have to kind of do that for hours and hours and hours, and you won't be as good as you thought you would be, but like it'll still be really fun.
I went to university and I really liked doing theatre stuff, and I knew I didn't have time to do any of the learning the lines because that always took me so long. So when I heard about improv, I was like, oh cool, theatre but without the effort.
One of the people who would go on to become one of the founders of the Bristol Improv Theatre shoved a piece of paper, literally a single line with the time and date of their workshop, into my hand, said, come along to an improv workshop. And I did, and now it's 9 years later.
You can talk for yonks about improv. I have done that to many people. But if I was on stage and you were sitting there in the audience, what I would probably say is...
Give me a cheer if you've seen improvised comedy before! Yeah! Give me a cheer if you've never seen it before! Yeah! Oh my god, fresh meat!
And then we just reassure them that everything they're going to see is entirely made up.
And that means that they've got nothing pre-prepared. They make up everything on the spot.
We don't know what's going to happen. We fully improvised.
Improvised, here meaning performed without any sort of a script.
We don't have time to learn scripts here.
We are speaking off the cuff, as it were, and we don't know what is going to happen until it happens. Is everybody all right with that?
Yeah! And then the one other part that I think is quite important is I would probably prepare them to give us suggestions, because this is a participative medium.
At the beginning, we'll ask you for a suggestion.
A suggestion of an object. The coolest object you've seen in real life.
A location that means something to you.
Astro.
You had me at Oriental Bush Cherry.
Shut up, keep going, keep going.
There was a lot of murder in the first half. Let's go for astronaut. Astronaut, thank you.
Only you may tell me what was strange about that sausage in the shape of a knife.
Mostly, we just leave it to explain itself, because there isn't a lot of explanation that you can give about what they're about to see, because ultimately, you have no idea what they're about to see.
It says here it's a dog show, Dennis. Well, you're riding a horse.
Right. What if we make the horse look a little bit more like a dog and maybe say it's like an hybrid dog?
I'm listening.
We could perm the mane and the tail and say that it's a poodle horse.
It's a very big poodle horse. But you get those miniature poodles, don't you?
You get miniature poodles.
So it makes sense that they would go the other way as well.
Exactly.
A maximum poodle.
Maximum poodles.
You're usually either behind a curtain, if you're in a fancy schmancy theatre, or you are waiting at the back of the room and looking at the audience from behind, if you're in just the room above a pub.
You can hear the audience like filtering in, and you're kind of waiting in the wings, and you've got your teammates with you, and like there's that nervous energy, and you're bouncing off each other a little bit, and you're going around like, got your back, got your back.
I'm going to support you in this scene. I'm going to make you look great.
It just solidifies that trust. Just a reminder that really your number one priority when you're on stage with other people doing something like this is to look after those people.
And also, I'm going to listen to you. If you have to take one thing away for improv, it is listen, because it is impossible to do improv out like that.
And we're on day 26. 500 more to go. I also double up as a calculator. All right.
640 divided by 40.
640 divided by 16. Please don't applaud me. I have a calculator.
As soon as you get on stage, there is that moment of like, okay, we're here now.
I'm nervous up until the first laugh.
That's a nice moment as well, where you start to think, yeah, we've got this.
The second I take the step to go on, it all goes away, and I'm like, I'm
so in the moment and so present.
It's probably like the riskiest thing I do.
In an okay way, not in an unsafe terror.
Yeah.
Like I'm alive, I'm a bungee jumping terror.
Yeah. That feeling of like just stepping out. I have no idea what I'm gonna do or what I'm gonna say or what we're gonna sing, but we've all kind of got each other. That's quite a real like buzz, I guess.
When you have a show that goes well, or you have a class that you're having so much fun in, or you're just doing a rehearsal and you feel like you're just flowing with each other, it feels like a little adrenaline rush that you just want to hit again.
It is electric when you are really hitting a game or the essence of what's funny in a scene, and you know you're doing it really well, and you feel the repetitive laugh of the audience, and you know that you're feeding that. That's an unbeatable feeling.
Without wanting to sound like I'm in Wall Street, there is a power with it. It does feel good.
Yes? Sorry, I was just sitting on my money.
Yes. Don't worry.
Some of it's still
Some
not fallen out
of it
yet.
stuck on when you stood up.
Me a moment.
I wish you would.
It's the pennies that get you.
Yes.
If you sit on the pennies, the pounds will sit on themselves.
There's this phrase flow state, isn't there, which I don't think I understand. But I think it's the idea that you are really in the moment. You're not worrying about what you're making for dinner or anything like that. It's just literally you're there, you're reacting to what's going on. A great line I heard, I can't remember where it came from, but if you're feeling self-conscious, it means your attention's on the wrong person. And just pay more attention to the person you're on stage with. And just by listening to them and reacting to what they're doing, you're back in the scene. In improv language, we talk in terms of making an offer and not blocking that offer and going with it, the old yes and thing. But when you're with someone who's a good improviser and the two of you are having fun and it's bouncing and playing and you can tell the other person's on with you, I don't know, I'm not much of a dancer, but it's like a dance in the sense of you're both working together in a really kind of magical way. It's great. So, flow state. Oh, was that what flow state is? Got you. Right, now I know.
99% caffeine.
Oh God. I think improv is literally just making what we can all already do, but like slightly more performative. We do it all the time. Like haven't planned what I'm saying, but I'm saying stuff.
You don't need props or set or costumes. You're just working off your imagination. There's no boundary to your sandbox.
It's just like us sitting down in the break room, talking about anything and everything, and just taking a joke and kind of following on with that, taking it to an absolutely absurd level, and then bringing it back down to a more rational level. And then later on in the lunch period, somebody will reference that joke again, and then we'll all start cracking up. It's kind of an extended inside joke is what each performance feels like, or each run that you do.
Daddy, I'm sorry.
It's forgive me, Father, for I have sinned.
Do you want me to tell you something bad?
Yes, that's the idea, yes.
Do you want me to tell you something very bad?
Yes, that's the purpose of the booth.
How bad do you want it, Father?
Oh, just as bad as you've been.
I think most people think it's harder than it is because there's structure there, but I think that because the audience often doesn't see that, they don't know what a herald is, they assume that it's completely out of thin air, whereas there are elements. So I think that fear of there's absolutely no net at all, when there kind of is.
The fear of that you have to be funny before you going in, the fear of performance, and the fear of having something important to say, which I think stems from I'm not good enough as is, which is a deep fear I think a lot of people have. That's the biggest misconception about improv.
You don't have to be individually funny. It's all about just being able to work as a group, and the situations become funny that your combined experiences create.
You don't have to be the loudest, most extroverted person in the room. Sometimes a quiet, intelligent improviser can do things that are massively surprising and really amazing to watch.
90% of the funniest bits that I've seen from an improv show have just been a really normal, down-to-earth reaction to a situation that has
developed into this crazy mess over the course of a whole show.
Totally.
Like bringing it back down to earth is like always a great move.
Look, I'll get the megaphone out. You can't.
Maybe this bed is just indicative of our issues in our relationship.
What do you mean? Use the megaphone. I can't hear you properly when you're being serious like this.
I think we've got issues. We need to split up.
Because I did multiple courses and multiple showcases, it was really interesting. There was one time where I realised other people were nervous and I wasn't. And I was like, oh, yeah, showcase, no big deal. People looking at us. I don't know when it changed, but something changed where I'm like, I'm pretty comfortable on the stage. That's a great metaphor for life, isn't it? I know it's going to be fine.
At the risk of sounding a little bit emo, I don't really feel anything before going on stage now. Not in a bad way. It's just like, I'm like, on stage, you're in the moment and nothing else can matter because you don't have enough brain left for it. And then afterwards, I go, oh, I was just on stage. And then all of the pre-show nerves kind of appear then, which is great because it's good timing.
As a teacher of improv, the thing that comes out the most from my students is, if you told me I'd be doing this a little while ago, I wouldn't have believed you, but I enjoy doing it. Leaping into the unknown and facing your fear is a big thing that comes up.
There was a guy that I was working with. He used to be in the military, and he was like, he's seen combat and everything, and we were just chatting about like our hobbies, and I said that I did improv, and he was like, oh, I could never do that, man. He's like, that's terrifying. I was like, are you serious? And he literally said, he was like, no, I'd much rather do what I do than do that. So like, there's some barrier for a lot of people of just this insane fear that like, the worst thing that can go wrong is really not that bad. It's that you just look a bit stupid, and that's kind of fine.
No, I agree. I think we're the brave ones.
Yeah, he is right.
He is right.
We are better than like
military
heroes or firefighters, anything.
Have you written me a poem, Bonald?
Yes, I have.
Can I hear it? I'd love to hear it, Bonald.
Yes, you can hear it right now. Oh. Rug. My snuggle bug. Me and you through infinity. Bonald.
Oh, that's so like you, Bonald, to finish the poem with your own name.
I feel like something about improv and the accepting environment it sort of breeds sort of allows me to be more responsible and accepting of things that I do and other people do in real life.
The moment never sticks around. It's not like people are going to talk about it from years from now, unless I do something really crazy. I feel like that sort of feeling is easy to say, but it's really hard to actually put into practice. I just don't care anymore, which is a great skill, I think.
I did notice when I started the courses, I was quite self-aware, so I've kind of pushed through that.
I have to do a lot of presentations, and the fact that I'm not afraid to get up on stage in front of people and talk to people has helped me enormously.
I love trying to delight other people and them trying to delight me, and that's what improv is about. But it also, like, I've brought that into work, like among my team, you know, like how can we work together? What delights you, like, because that will delight all of us. It's so positive.
It's been great as a primary school teacher. Improv is a wonderful way to interact with children, kind of going with them in that joy and silliness can be really rewarding as a teacher.
I'm a better parent thanks to improv. I struggled quite a lot when my kids were very small, sort of mental health and depression and things like that. And the secret about parenting is it's really quite boring when they're small, and that the days stretch out in front of you and you're trying to entertain this little thing. But improv has taught me that point about being in the moment and present and just playing with what's happening. As I say, it's affected everything I do, really. I'm really grateful to it for that what aspect?
I've become more present in like every aspect of my life. Like with my kids, with work, I'm a much better active listener. I never used to be.
Do you speak to some people who you just know they're waiting for their next thing that they're going to say? You know?
Blah, 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 my line, blah, 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 my line, and people aren't listening to each other.
Because in an improv scene, everything is a gift, so you're listening to absolutely everything. Often people do want to vent or do want to talk about their lives, so it's a useful way of gaining their trust. To eventually betray them.
I'm sad. And maybe you don't have anyone to talk to in your life about your divorce and stuff? No, I talk to everybody I meet about.
I honestly don't know why I love improv. Why? God. I don't know.
I guess it's kind of like taking over my evenings.
There's something to do with the fact that it's always new, it's always entertaining, and I have a very short attention span.
Every class you go into, it's not going to be like any other class. You're never going to see what you've done in the rehearsal again. Every show is different, and everyone within that group is bringing different energies and different ideas and different experiences.
Whereas like with stand-up, like I get bored of my own jokes because I tell them over and over again. But yeah, with improv, it's completely new every time. So it's new for everyone.
I think it's the people that keeps me coming back.
The good so outweighs the bad, and it is so much about the people that you are performing with. I've failed so many times in improv. I have come off the stage and I have been feeling like, oh my God. And it's not the end of the world. It's just not. If you have a bad show in improv, you get off stage and you've got a troop of people behind you to make you feel better.
The very nature of improv is you've got to trust each other. So I think very like trusting people, very open. It's probably the most caring space I've ever been. I've never done anything before where everyone's like, how are you? Like we all check in and like, it's very wholesome.
It is a brilliant way to meet people, especially if you're in a new place. It speeds up the community building process amazingly, because when you are on stage with someone and you are improvising, you get to know that person's instincts very quickly.
Who you're doing improv with makes a huge difference.
It's because of me.
It's a good way to hang out with someone without being like, do you want to hang out?
It's put me all out of kilter now, and you know, I put the eclair, the cream in the wrong part of the eclair. And
What other part of the eclair is there to put cream into?
Well, it's meant to go inside, isn't it?
So when you say you put it into the wrong part of the eclair, you just mean you put it next to the eclair?
No, like round it.
I mean, it's a bit simple, but it's like a bunch of people playing, messing about. That's really it. It's not rocket science, I don't think. I mean, you can get technical about it, but essentially it's just like letting go and having a play.
I feel so strongly about this that as adults in general, we do not give ourselves enough chances to play.
It engages with that inner child, where just like you get to play pretend again, and that's something that a lot of people probably haven't had since primary school.
It's like the adult version of going to a soft play area, and kids go to them all the time.
There's no adult playgrounds, or if there is, they're like £20 an hour, and you have to be on a stag do.
So improv like really just gives you the chance to do that and be silly and roll around on the floor and act a little wild and get that kind of pent up energy out so that you can go to work the next day and sit at your desk for 8 hours and pretend to be a real adult.
It sounds so silly when you say it out loud, like, oh, my toddler in a sandpit, I'm playing. But when you're on stage with a group of people who are very accepting, I'll just play and you can just play off them, it's real fun.
Like zoinks, Fred. How did you get the Mr. Machine on way here?
My glasses!
So dangerous.
Why would you help me? I can't see them because I need my glasses.
Daphne, I think.
Shaggy, what are you doing here? Shaggy? Scooby-Dooby-Doo! I'm Shaggy. I'm Fred.
It's so rare that you have what anyone would consider a perfect scene. there's always going to be something that you can improve on. It's kind of like you're sort of chasing the dragon of, to use a heroin metaphor, chasing the dragon of the perfect scene or the perfect game, perfect character, whatever. So there's always something which is often just slightly out of reach that you know you can improve on, but not so much that you think it's kind of unachievable.
People do it for a very long time, and it takes a very long time to get decent.
We assume.
We're nearly there. Improv is huge. There's such a wide variety of opinions about what's good and how to do it, and different specializations that you can do. So there's always more to learn. It doesn't stop.
Mikey?
Yeah?
I've never pointed a gun at you in our entire career together.
And that's what I like about you, Jeannie.
There's a first time for everything.
For me, improv is like a whole metaphor for life. What is it to say yes, but equally to have boundaries, and to be free, to be spontaneous, to be in the flow, and to stop any voices. What is it to be seen? What is it to be heard? And have a voice. Like, it's both super simple, it's just playing, but it's also super deep, because I would say in everybody there's a desire to be seen, to be heard, kind of fundamentally. And to do that on a stage where you have an audience is pretty profound.
Thank you.